Hey guys, welcome to Two Peas Out the Pod with Johnny and Shay.
What's up, guys?
So, guys, in 1962, a major Hollywood studio released a film about a middle aged man who was obsessed with a teenage girl. It wasn't hidden, it wasn't underground, and it wasn't subtle. The film was called Lolita. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out. But what makes this story disturbing isn't just the subject matter, it's how it was allowed to be made at all. Because behind that camera was a director who didn't just push the boundaries, he built his entire career on breaking them. And what he had to do to get this film approved was way more unsettling than the movie itself. So, we're going to talk about his filmography. He has some other crazy movies in it. And if you guys haven't heard of this movie, once you hear the other ones that he's made, you'll definitely understand why we chose it. So,
I
stick
just want
around.
I, I
It's a
just want
crazy one.
I just want to say for the record that it's classified as a romance and crime. I wouldn't I, w-
Really?
I wouldn't really put that much as a romance,
I would
but
classify it as, what would you classify it as?
oh man, PDF and
That's
crime.
not a classification.
Oh, would you call? Oh, I got it. SVU and crime.
That's not a class.
That okay. How about just questionable and crime? Huh, is that fair enough?
Questionable crime.
No, questionable slash crime. Because you remember
Mm.
I said it was romance slash crime. So,
So what is that even like? It's not really the rated because it's not rated. That's like the type of movie.
well, at that time in the '60s, they didn't really have like. I mean, they had somewhat of a rating, but I mean, wasn't really rated at
It
that
could
time.
be a psychological drama instead or dark satire. That's really what it should be, dark comedy. A
Uh,
controversial literary adaptation.
okay, so that's
I'm just saying. That's what they chose for it
yeah,
is kind of weird.
yeah. They should never named it for what it is, but it is a. I just want to say for the record, it is a black and white film. So I would say personally, if I was gonna introduce black and white film to anybody, that would be a perfect film to actually showcase because it's crazy. And again, spoiler alert, there's a camp called Camp Climax. It's an all girls camp. You can get wet with as many jokes as you want with that one.
Wow. So, guys, we're going to jump right in. So, basically, this is based on a book.
Oh, that's just like Climax Camp. Oh,
So, this is based on a book. So, Kubrick, which is obviously the, what would you call him? The producer, writer,
no, director.
director. So before Kubrick ever touched the film, the story itself was already considered untouchable. So Lolita began as a novel by Vladimir Nabokov in 1955. The book centered on Humbert Humbert, a man obsessed with a 12-year-old girl. When it was first published, it was banned in multiple countries. Even in the US, publishers initially refused to print it, and it was eventually released by a French publisher known for controversial work. Despite the backlash, it became a bestseller, which is kind of odd, right?
Um, I mean, listen, they were trying to push some boundaries. I understand, but let's not do that.
Yeah.
I'm glad that there was some pushback at that time, and but at the same time, I mean, somebody's gonna want to do it for, I guess, like for our current and age, for clicks or
All right.
for the bag, like they would say.
Yeah. Well, nowadays it would be like a way to go viral for controversy, but
Yeah.
it's not really controversial anymore because we see so much of it. So, why Kubrick took this role on? So, why he said yes? So, why would any director actually want to do this movie, especially in the 1960s? Because obviously the book had a hard time even getting published. But at that time, Hollywood was still operating under what they called the production code, which basically had strict rules controlling morality, sexuality, and what could be shown on screen. So they were really kind of operating under like the FCC guidelines. It wasn't called that then, but even for movies, it was very like taboo to get a little wild.
Right, and we've seen that in and countless other films where they push the envelope. So
I just think all these movies don't age well.
yeah, they
Every
do
time
not.
we go back and watch an old movie, I'm like, wow, this is so, it's either very politically incorrect or you're just like, geez.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, no, that's why.
it's crazy.
No, that's why it's same thing with me. Like I like you know me, I listen to like my old same musicians I like, and I go back to like a lot of old school music too. But it's just nothing slaps more than going back to an old movie and just be like, God damn this.
Or especially if you watched as a kid and then watching it as an adult,
Yeah.
you're like, whoa, I didn't even know this was what this is about.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So Stanley Kubrick had just come off making Spartacus in 1960, and so he was gaining a reputation for control, precision, and challenging the norms. So he wasn't interested in safe films, which obviously made him very interested in this particular novel. He didn't want to shock audiences directly, but he wanted to make them feel uncomfortable without fully realizing why. And it definitely, the movie, there are some areas where I'm like, really? And it definitely does make you question, like, why this is even a movie. Um, so, yeah, but he got away with it.
Yeah, no, he did get away with it. But if you look at oh, also me and Shay got all seven Kubrick's movies, and we just thought we start with that one. We are going to look at Eyes Wide Shut. That's going to be another film that we're going to do. Full Metal Jacket. Not a lot of people knew that. I mean, unless you're a fan of his work.
The Shining.
The Shining, of course, a classic. And Clockwork Orange. That's another one. I've seen that in my lifetime 3 times. This is probably my fourth time watching it.
Mm.
It's a good film.
Okay, so we're
And
gonna pull up the video of the day, guys, and while Johnny's pulling that up, just wanted to say, thanks for checking out our channel. This is your first time here, welcome, and then if you're coming back for another video, we really appreciate it. We do have a pretty large catalog of past videos on different movies and things we've done, so definitely go back and see if any of that is things that you're interested in. We did do a quite a large horror section around Halloween as well, so, yeah, but here is our video of the day.
I just want to say for the record, the video of the day is this is a rendition of the new Lolita movie that should be coming out in 2027 or 2028. We're just looking for a studio to work with us, but this is the opening scene right here. As you can see, it's a single mother with her young daughter, and we have a young gentleman right here. Let's just say that he's into the toy industry. Let's just say that. All right, and there we go. We're gonna check the scene. Oh, this is how he fakes it. Right here, he gains a little trust, the little girl. Tells the little girl, "Oh, you can have
Look,
it."
she's like, "I'm in love."
Yeah, and she takes it. She's like, "I loved it," and he gets high five. And then don't forget, no, then that don't forget, he films this. He has a filmographer that's filming this right here, and then he goes over to the mom and be like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" And then you know goes out on a date with the mom,
Yeah,
and then just like he's right, what he's doing is recruiting the kids so when they get to that ripe age,
yeah.
there we go. Damn, man. I should be a fucking director now. I'm about to make the new Lolita movie, man.
Wow.
It's called Lolita: The Long Game. Oh man,
So, guys, jumping back into the video. So, the only way to make Lolita was to actually not make Lolita. So, he had to alter a lot of things about the book in order for it to really kind of like get
obviously, because I mean, in
approved.
the book she was what 12 years old. Jeez,
But in the movie, to be clear, they didn't really tell us how old she was.
Shay,
There
we
was
we, we
a
had this
high,
discussion. Why are
yes,
you
there was
bringing
a
it to the
high school
public?
prom.
okay, it's a high
But
school,
sh they
so
didn't still say, is she 15? Is she
okay,
17?
but she
Whatever.
okay, but
I'm just saying,
whenever
they never said.
okay, but her and her mom got into a dispute because of her mom's getting old and she's in a ripe age, young and surpassing her mom in beauty and age
Yeah,
and
and
all
she
that.
said,
So
"I'm about to be 18 soon."
about to be in 2, yeah, in 2 years, she's about to she
Oh,
said
she
she's
said
about
that in 2 years?
yeah, she said in 2 years she's
So
about
she
to
was
graduate.
16.
Yeah, 16, so that's why I
They
was
still
like
never really said, but okay.
yeah, but it was heavily implied.
But much of the explicit content is removed or implied, like Johnny just said. The dialogue replaces direct depiction, and Kubrick leaned heavily into dark comedy and satire, which is really what this movie should be classified as, in my opinion. The tone shifts from disturbing to ironic, which was intentional to make you kind of, I guess, question things. um,
Man, listen.
but he did know that if he showed everything that was in the book, the film was going to get banned,
No, yeah, of course.
and if he implied everything, that he could get it through.
Yeah, so again, there was a scene where the young lady and him were in the car, and she said in her, and I quote, "Oh, I've been waiting for you to give me a kiss all the time," and then it pans to the scene of the car driving off. You know he must have kissed her, obviously.
Yeah. They
Uh,
never actually showed anything though. You just had to use your imagination to think like, "Oh, I wonder what they're really doing," and, behind closed doors.
and then another one was, painting her toenails,
Yeah,
which
that is so creepy.
I guess, like, in that way is, like, the equivalent of, like, me and Shay, like, with my arm around her, cuddling type thing. I got your little shit, dude. I was like, "Bro, I got what you were trying to do."
Wow. So the casting decisions alone could have destroyed the film, but they actually didn't. He made very good, I think, choices. He had James Mason play Humbert. Humbert, he portrayed him as restrained, conflicted, but not really like an open monster, but he definitely had like secretive
Yeah, all, like,
skeletons.
alternative yeah, exactly.
And then Sue Lyon played Lolita. She was 14 actually during the filming, even though, like Johnny said in the film, they said that she was 16.
Oh my
But
god.
she presented in a way that blurred innocence and maturity. Yeah, she did come. Like it seemed like there were times like she was egging him on, but then there also seemed times where he was annoyed with her immaturity. I've noticed
Yes.
that a lot.
Mhm.
Like he'd be like, "Oh, let's go, to this restaurant," and then she was just like, "Oh, I want to get what did she say, like candy or something?"
Yeah, like, nah,
Oh, a
cheeseburger or some
French fry
fries.
or something.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Really?"
Yeah.
Or what else? She did something else that annoyed him too on that one.
Um, oh, that, when the car was following them and stuff, and she's like, "Man, you're tripping out and stuff," and then, the car stopped and then backed up, and he was, like, having a heart attack, and she was like, "Oh, I think that's, like, you might be having a heart attack or something, blah, 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 blah."
Yeah,
Like,
she just
being very,
like,
very
obviously she looked, to him like, I guess attractive or whatever for her person, but her mental capacity was not there, and it did annoy him throughout the movie,
yes, yeah.
but he overlooked it. Um, Peter Sellers plays Claire Quilty, which is kind of the other antagonist in the story, honestly, and, like, maybe somebody that's, like, manic like a manic in a manic episode at parts of the movie,
Yeah.
and an
Uh
alcoholic, I think. I don't know.
yeah, he was an alcoholic. He was that gentleman that was following them and stuff. He was a weirdo.
Kubrick's control shows up because he used tone to manipulate perception. He pulled the attention away from the central discomfort, and obviously, um, just kind of made you really think about what was going on. But there were certain points where I was like, "What the
Yeah, no, I
heck?"
mean, again, when watching the film, it's like what it's like freaking playing Mad Libs. It's like you're filling in the blanks here.
But the film didn't spark outrage. It just confused people, honestly, because critics were divided. Some saw it as bold and intelligent. Others felt that it softened something that shouldn't be softened. Audiences weren't really sure how to react. Some of it was like, "Is this a satire?" Some said, "Is it disturbing?" And some were like, "It's both disturbing and a satire." So
Listen, I'm gonna say it was it's a good film. Um, I in my opinion, I believe he did it the right way. Um, I mean, I know some people they want them to be aggressive about it, but you really cannot on that subject,
yeah.
really.
And then the film was nominated for an Academy Award. So
Oh, word? Oh, I didn't know
there's
that.
that. Yeah. Um, but by making the story more acceptable, did the film make the subject easier to digest? Or was that the point of, doing it? As we know, like, we keep seeing this time and time again in our culture. Like, the more we see stuff, the more, just like when you're younger, you watch that first horror movie when you're little and you're like, oh my God, I can't sleep. And you're like, and it's probably not even like really that scary. But then years later, you go back and watch it and you're like, I was scared because you've
That's
seen
true.
so much crazy stuff since then that it doesn't even compare. It's like getting you, what's it
Numb,
called?
numb.
No, not numb, but like used to it, you know?
Um, yeah.
Like slowly making it a norm.
Mm, mm.
So now we
The
see
the
so much of this stuff in the news and so much of this stuff with like the e-files and everything else that people are just like, yeah, we know that it goes on and it may not be right, but it is what it is.
and yeah, that's just how our society is starting to look at it now.
Yeah. And sometimes if things don't affect you, you just keep moving. But Lolita wasn't an exception, it was a blueprint. Kubrick's later films obviously follow a similar pattern with how he likes to kind of, shock people. First, A Clockwork Orange was like violence and conditioning. The
Mhm.
Shining was a psychological breakdown. And then Eyes Wide Shut was like talking about hidden sexual worlds. All of that was like very taboo.
Yep.
And he did repeatedly explore control, morality, and human behavior. So in each case, he avoided the direct answers in his films and just presented situations and let the audience kind of figure out what they felt about the subject, which I think is
I
a
again, that's why
kind of why he
when
was
it
good at it.
yeah, that's why he didn't really wanna be too aggressive
Right.
on, like, the themes of the book. He just, again, like you said, lead it up to your imagination.
Yeah. And then, more than 60 years later, this film still feels risky.
Yeah.
I would say if you watch it, you definitely will agree. Modern audiences obviously view it very differently. It was, once subtle, but now it feels intentionally restrained. The film raises questions that still exist today. So, what should be shown versus implied? Does storytelling justify controversial subject matter? But there is a 1997 remake of this movie, and we need to definitely check
Yeah, we
that
need
out.
to check it out, but
And I guess it's more
we're definitely gonna watch we're not definitely gonna do a video on that one, no.
yeah, I guess it's
Uh,
more controversial though.
on that one, it is? Man.
Yeah,
Well, we are definitely going to add that to our bucket list of movies.
yeah.
Uh,
But Kubrick didn't just adapt a controversial story, he engineered a way for it to survive. So that's why, this movie's what, from 1962?
yeah, 1962.
And so here we are, 40 years later, and it's still, well, not even more than that, 6 years later.
Mhm.
Yeah, 60 years later, and it's still crazy.
A very, top subject.
Yeah. So, guys, we're going to pull up Throat Punch of the Day, which might be new for this channel. If you've been watching our previous videos, we have a new segment
For the record,
for the record.
since we're doing a Lolita video, damn, Nick Lachey says 98 Degrees kept an age of consent guide of each state on their tour bus. Ooh. Man,
Because
bro,
I
so
don't know if you guys know, but some states are like 14, some states are like 15, some states are 16, some states are 17, whatever. Some states are 18. How
so,
about just set a far more moral rule and just say 18? That's
no, it's
pretty
just
shitty.
no, yeah, no, it just goes to show you
Go.
how creepy each state is.
That just goes to show you how creepy celebrities are.
Well, that too, most of all, yeah, of course. So,
Wow.
I can see why, yeah, Nick Lachey was actually in the news recently. I guess he was I guess, his wife, ex-wife, Jessica Simpson was, avoiding him or they were avoiding each other, I guess, in flight or something along the lines of that or at some venue. But,
Him and his new wife did,
OF?
no, there's this, reality TV show that they hosted. I forgot which one though.
Yeah, but, just knowing this right here, um, I would say, whoever's his wife now, I'll be like, "Dude, I want a divorce."
Wow.
Just finding this out
Oh,
right
they
here.
they co-hosted, so him and his wife, Vanessa Lachey, have co-hosted Love Is Blind, that's right. It premiered in 2020 on Netflix, and it's still going on. So basically, it's that one where, they go behind the wall and they
Mm.
the one that you hate. They talk to each other. It's all scripted and stuff, but I mean, that's what they say. So,
What,
but
it's
yeah,
scripted?
yeah, that's what they say.
Well, I believe, any reality television or anything like that is scripted. So, I mean,
So
but,
yeah, let us know what you guys think about that if you think that's pretty creepy.
yeah, no, that's the definition of creepy right there.
Yep. So, guys, the real question isn't, obviously just why did Kubrick make Lolita? It's how he convinced the world to accept it. Because this wasn't a film that followed the rules, it was a film that found a way around them. And that might be the most unsettling part of all, guys. So,
Yeah,
definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. Let us know what you think in the comments below. We'd like to obviously hear and read your comments and feedback. And definitely, guys, check us out on the next episode of Two Peas Out the Pod. That's it for us.
peace out.
Bye.